Alright, so I wanted to do a bit of a follow-up for my previous video, which was part 7, where I kind of went on a bit of a rant against poor updates, the Lenovo Vantage software, and of course Windows 10 updates. Now, my complaints are still valid in that they updated and made the software worse, its functionality got worse, the performance went down, and the fans kicked in a lot more, the heat was out of control. Now, prior to that video, I hadn't really had a lot of issues. And about a week after I posted that video, there was an update to Windows 10, and I believe Lenovo as well, but I can't recall for sure. And the performance of the fans and the cooling system went back almost to where it was prior to I shot that video and had all those complaints. So now in high performance mode, the fans do kick on a little bit, but not quite as bad as they were previously, and the temperatures remain much more stable. So with that said, I worked on it, or I used it for about a week at those levels to make sure that it was pretty much on par with what it was before, and it was. I do hear the fans one or two more times than I used to, and the temperatures are a little bit higher than they were before, but nothing outlandish. We're talking 1-2 degrees. So overall, things were back on track. Now, with that said, I've used the last 2 weeks to try and use the other intelligent cooling mode, just to see if there'd be any significant difference in the way the system performed. And what I found was that for my very light usage, the intelligent mode is allowing the device to run a couple degrees higher. So we're talking right now about 52 to 56 Celsius overall, and the fans really don't kick on at all. If we start getting to 57 degrees, the fans will very silently kick on for a moment just to flush some air through the system and then shut down, instead of high performance mode where they will ramp up and then throttle back down. So in high performance mode, as expected, it's trying to do the most cooling possible, whereas intelligent, it's trying to do enough to keep things stable with the performance that you're using. So it's not bad. I prefer to have the fans kick on a little bit and cool the system down within reason, because lower temperatures are much more important to me than a little bit of silence for what I'm doing on it most of the time. Now, I've got the device currently turned off. It's not running. It's been off for quite a few hours. So totally off, and my goal here is not to really run through a whole battery of new tests, but I just want to boot it up, show how many browser tabs that I'm typically looking at in YouTube or Chrome, just to show that I'm running a lot of browser tabs and I'm running intelligent cooling, and what I'm saying isn't complete BS. I've shown it in the demo before I did the live one where I was just explaining how I was using the Lenovo Vantage software. So it's there, it does work. I've seen a number of complaints in the comments still calling out that the cooling is just crazy on this, and I agree, at times it can, depending on the software update that's applied to your system. Likewise, I've seen a number of people who are complaining about really out of control temperatures and fan utilization, and it sounds more like they have a potential bad unit, similar to what I've said multiple times with my original Surface 1. Its cooling system was completely messed up, and I sent it back after a week of playing Counter-Strike Go, Dota 2, and a number of other basic games. Even the in-house pinball that Windows 8 came with was just too much for that cooling system, and I was getting FPS thermal throttling just because of that, and it was just crazy. In a lot of these systems, from what some of those complaints are saying, it seems to match that type of a concern. So you may want to send it back and get a replacement unit or work with Lenovo to see what's going on your particular unit. Mine is still running essentially stock. All I've done is remove a tiny bit of the bloat, shut down some applications that were running, and that's it. I don't have it connected to a lot of stuff because I know what that can do to a unit. So it doesn't mean it's bad, just I don't run a lot of extra crap on this. And I'm looking at the screen just to make sure that I've got the laptop visible and I don't blind you with the feedback on there. So let's log in here. Okay, so there's my unit. Nothing really going on there. Let me fire up the cooling software. I'm not sure, or the temperature software. I'm not sure how well this is going to translate over a webcam. We just booted up. We're running a package temperature. We peaked at 74 during boot up, and now we're down to 48, which is the idle because the system's pretty cold. So let's see if I can get this on the camera. Let me open the monitor a little more. So there's Lenovo Vantage running in intelligent cooling, 44% battery. And I don't know if you can really make it out, and I apologize for that. I'll try to zoom it in. There's the package temperatures. I can't really read it from here. It looks like about 47, 48 Celsius. Let's see if I'm correct. Yep, about 47, 48. We're bouncing around a little bit, not a big deal. All right, no fan noise, nothing running. If you are hearing any fan noise, it's my desktop down there, which has 320 mil fans running on the radiator right now. All right, so I'm going to fire up Chrome. Here it comes. I think this video is going to play. Let's pause that. All right, so here's basic YouTube. Right now, what I've done is I've essentially opened a slew of of tabs for a number of videos I want to watch on YouTube, a number of sites that I'm tracking things on, just a variety of things. So basically, I come home, I finish work, I pull out my computer, I fire up all the stuff I want to watch that evening or over the next day or two if there's a ton of video content that I want to watch. And you can see there at the top of the screen how many browser tabs I've got loaded. Let me angle that away. There you go. So you can see all those different browser tabs that I've got set up there. It's not a crazy amount, but it's a decent amount. And with that, let's go back to my temperatures. I'm at about 46 to 48. Running all of that. So let me load Task Manager as well. We'll move it over to the side here. So in this, I hope, let me open that, you can see my memory usage for Chrome there at the top. A bit high. I know that's really pixelated. Sorry, not much I can do on that. And then there's my temperatures package bouncing between 46 and about 48. So overall, not too bad. And again, I'm running the intelligent cooling mode right now. So still right up next to my microphone. No noise. So I just wanted to do that bit of a follow-up on the cooling system and say that it does work. You got to remember that this is a very thin device running a very hefty CPU. And I've chosen the i5, not the i7. I didn't choose the 4K screen. Again, I went into this knowing what I was getting. Maybe that's why my performance is a little better than what some others are getting with the i7. You're running more background process threads, you're running more active connections, more streams, more telemetry, you've got Cortana installed. There's a number of things that can be happening that might be causing your particular unit to be running slow. It's not necessarily a defect on the unit. I'm not going to say it's perfect. This rear foot is really a problem. They should have clipped it in the middle, moved the feet off to the sides back here, and made them maybe half as tall or even double what this one currently is. That would alleviate the scratches on here when you try to pick it up, and it would have raised the back enough to get some proper airflow here on this main intake. So that's my main complaint on that front. Now let me close this and talk about the next item that I really haven't touched on anywhere else, and that's the keyboard. So I'm going to flip that out of the way so we can just focus on the keyboard here. First and foremost, the keyboard is overall very awesome. The illumination on it is fantastic. The backlighting is really solid and really good. I don't know if it's going to pick up with the tablet opened. Nope. So there's the keys illuminated. I love how it runs. They come on as soon as you touch something. Even the trackpad will wake it up. And then after about 10-15 seconds, it fades out. So you don't have to worry about it just staying on all the time, which is very nice. And there it goes. Touch the trackpad and it immediately wakes back up. So I love that aspect of the keyboard. I think it works very well. The key travel is a pretty decent distance. It's not like a chiclet style, but it doesn't have a ton of travel. It's about the thickness of the key, which is not super deep. Again, you can look at some of the other videos and photos I've posted about that. But the main thing with the keyboard is the resistance on it's not bad. It's got a good punchy feel to it, so you don't feel like the key just bottoms out immediately or that you have to stuff it really hard. It's not a mechanical by any means, but it's got good resistance to it to where if you are a very fast typist, you can hit on these keys reasonably well and it won't be too big of a deal. You're not going to hurt your fingers too much. I do a ton of typing in both work and personal, so I've had to really work to slow my typing speed down, because going too fast, I found I was tensing my muscles too much and my joints were getting sore as part of that. Carpal tunnel, I don't have any of that, thankfully, at the moment. Most of it's just finger fatigue from tensing and typing too hard. My work laptop, because of COVID and all that, working remotely, my work laptop is starting to hurt my hands a little bit. I just don't want to disassemble my main computer to hook up stuff to it. But if I slow down enough, then I can type and I can ease the muscle tension on my fingers and it doesn't hurt as much. This, I don't have the same problem. What I do have about this is you can see the bottom of these keys are rounded. Let me move this in again. So you can see that the bottom of the keys are rounded. And what that does is it makes it feel like some of the keys are farther apart than they really are. These keys overall are no real different distance-wise from my work laptop, from my wife's laptop, from my wife's work laptop, even to the tops of the keys on my G910 Spark keyboard from Logitech that I use primarily here at home. At work, I have a Corsair whatever keyboard. The keys are the same distance apart, but because of this rounded bevel on the bottom, there are times, depending on how big your hands are and how used you are to typing, that the keys will feel farther apart. Some of that can also come down to placement and certain key size. Like the tab key's not bad. The F keys are really small. They fit there. Volume, page up and down are a little funky. I wish they would have maybe shrunk those to make it a little more easy, but that's not the complaint. When I'm typing here and I'm moving, you use a lot of finger feel, and your fingers are used to traveling a certain distance and feeling a certain type of key structure there. So when I'm typing on my work laptop, unless I'm really fatigued and tired, I don't feel much in switching between my home keyboard and my laptop. On this, though, it takes a little bit more of getting used to, simply because there's that extra bevel and it feels mentally like there's a bit more distance. If you haven't done a whole lot of typing amongst different keyboards, or you're used to your cell phones or other types, it's not going to be much of adjustment. But if you do live in an office environment and you spend a lot of time typing on a regular keyboard, you are going to notice that distance a little bit. Again, once I realized what was going on, because it felt like I was stretching my hand a lot farther to type on this, but once I realized that it was just that beveled edge of the keyboard, it stopped being the same concern, because mentally I knew that I was moving the same edge. You just may hit the key a slightly different way, so it hits on the edge instead of more centered on there, just because of the way the bevel works. So just something I wanted to call it as a slight negative, but overall it's not a problem. I really like the keyboard. I really like the trackpad, and overall I've been extremely pleased with this laptop purchase. I think for my needs, my purposes, the 3, 4, 5 months of active research I did into the particular unit that I was going to buy paid off very well for me. And since the Surface 3 came out, I've been in the market for a replacement for my Gen 1 Surface Pro, just to show how long I've been kind of eyeballing it. But nothing at that point could really justify the cost of upgrading versus my Gen 1 Surface Pro, because it was doing everything I needed it to between productivity with work, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, things like that. I took it on several business trips and used the stylus to take notes and do some basic presentations on that front. Work laptop got better at that point, so it became less of a productivity need on the go versus just having a much better work laptop that could function it. And now this thing can do some basic gaming, so if I am on the road, I can pull it out and actually play some decent games. Even with my Surface Pro, I was able to do Counter-Strike Go, 720p, very low settings, and it was a struggle sometimes. Dota 2, bit of a struggle again. You get any high action sequence and it stutters, so not great. This sucker eats up Dota 2. Counter-Strike Go, not a problem. I showed you that it can handle Ring of Elysium. If you tweak it enough, you can get even better performance out of it, but it is very playable. I don't play those type of games typically when I'm on the go. Dota I will, because you've got all the mods where you can do tower defense and other stuff. Time waster games, it's perfect for. High-end FPS stuff and real competitive level play, no, it wasn't designed for that, but for an all-around package for my needs, this was a great purchase. And I hope that this series has helped shed light on some of the mainstream concerns that a lot of people have had. And I totally get it. The cooling system is a concern for a lot of people. I had a comment the other day calling out that the stylus in this because they've got a similar stylus or the same type of stylus from an older model is just trash for their needs. And I would agree, if they're coming in as a graphic designer or looking to do some actual serious drawing, the baked-in stylus isn't for you. I think I even called that out in the video I made. It's a great stylus. If you're just looking to take some quick notes, do some quick doodling or some basic sketches, it's a great stylus. But if you're looking to do long-term drawing and you are an actual artist, you're going to want to pick up an aftermarket stylus, or you may already have one that's more tailored to your needs, has more buttons, you can customize it to do exactly what you need. The baked-in option is not going to be for you. But that doesn't mean that this computer can't fit the bill for you. But if all you're looking to do is draw, then I would suggest looking at some of the other potential options out there, as there's some that are going to be more geared towards the artist out there. So thank you guys for watching this series. Plenty of good comments. I enjoy reading all of them, positive and negative, against the Unit and 4. I'll try to respond to anything that I can. But again, Unit's working great for me, so hope you found this series beneficial. I appreciate everybody for watching it and commenting on it. It has really made it worthwhile to keep up with the series. So thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.